investment involved. 400 kilometers to Homa Bay and back, that's 800 kilometers of travel. They went through all that, all the way to Nairobi. Why Karura Forest? There was no Karura Forest in Homa Bay. That's now you understand why. They could not do the thing they wanted to do in Homa Bay, Mawego police station. They wanted something as secret as a torture chamber in Karura Forest. So everything adds up. Then Karura Forest has been known for so many people in Karura Forest. You know Msando. Where was he killed? Where was he found? So we can count names and names. And this policeman knew. DCI knew. And then they said that he was never taken to DCI. Yet we had the information. You wait for the prosecution to begin. We have witnesses we are going to bring. We have the information we have gathered. Information which is undeniable. They are going to ensure that they get everything. Like I told you, when you do investigation, A, B, C, assume nothing, believe nothing, check everything. So as the people helping Ojwang's family to get justice, we are assuming nothing. We are not going to believe anything they tell us, and we are going to check everything until justice is done, and then justice is served, until justice is seen to have been done. We won't relent. And I can tell you, we talked about Ruto one term, isn't it? With the killing Ojwang, we have now moved to half term. We are not even discussing about one term anymore. And I want to ask Raila Odinga, ask yourself, which side are you? This is the side when you have to abandon this trade. You have to tell William Ruto to carry his own cross. You cannot face your sunset days and abandon your son. Ojwang is your son. Ojwang was from Homa Bay. Raila Odinga Stadium is in Homa Bay. That's why you took William Ruto to do the Madaraka Day. Now he has killed your son. Is there something you are waiting to see that he's gonna do? How comes every time we join the government?
Here to get into another video. Happy on the Kenyan Daily Report TV together with news time TV. And as of right now, we have one Professor Ogolla, who has been at the center of following up with the murder of the late Albert Ojwang. Now we want to know where things have reached right now. How is the family faring? When are they planning to lay Albert Ojwang to rest? And do they really think that justice will be served in the said murder of Albert Ojwang? Welcome, Professor.
Thank you very much.
How are you doing?
Very well, but of course the nation is mourning, so nobody is happy. But we are soldiering on, but the nation is really mourning. You saw yesterday's John Mbadi's budget reading became more like a morning speech. You know, can you imagine that we are reading a budget and the headline is about death and murder of the newspapers. John Mbadi was on page 7 of the Standard with his budget. Yet page 1 to 6 was all about murder, death, disappearances, abductions, rogue cops, name it. It also happened last year when the budget was being read. The front page never spoke what was happening. Also, remember, if you check again at this, the headline of the State of the Nation address, there were all sorts of Adani. The Adani was on the front page, and the Kentraku deal was on the front page. So Kenya Kwanza seems to be making all the wrong headlines and missing out on the most important headlines. Because when I was going out to Line Point the day before the budget, the front page will be cool on that day, talking about what to expect, basket of goodies in life. And then the next day you'll see that the president will offer goodies to the citizens. But I don't think whether there was any goodies this time when the body of Albert Ojwang is lying in the mortuary. And some of us who saw from when he was brought to the mortuary, we saw the body lying there to the postmortem. We don't even sleep now, and I'm sure the parents are going through a very hard time. I talked to some of them this morning. Some people also interfering with them because some people have political interest. Some people must try to misuse them. And I think that as one of the family close friend, we are trying to advise them to focus on mourning Ojwang, because these moments will not get them again. We want to ensure that we take as much weight from them to give them time to mourn. In fact, the most important thing is to be in touch with what they are going through now. And as we speak, everyone is not happy. I'm sure everybody is hurting, but of course, some people have different pain. For those who are perpetrators, their pain is that they are being caught. For those who are the one who have received this pain, our pain is that we have lost Ojwang. And not just Ojwang, how many more Ojwangs are there? And the most important thing is the casualness with which the state is taking this matter. They are trying to think that, they are trying to tell us something that forgive and forget, or accept and move on. You know, that attitude is so irritating. Can you imagine that Ojwang's body is lying in the mortuary and President William Ruto is in a hurry to go and gazette IBC commissioners? Does he care about that? In my culture, if an elder dies or if anybody dies at home, even people stop going to work. People can't go to the shamba. You cannot go plant seeds on the day people die. You cannot leave your wife, your child, or whoever dead, and you're going to work. So William Ruto, his son has died, Albert Ojwang, because he's the father of the nation, you like it or not. Yeye ndio baba wa taifa. Kwa hivyo yeye ni baba wa Ojwang. Ojwang is lying in the mortuary and he's in a hurry to gazette IBC commissioner, which is even in contempt of court. So for me, the casualness with this one is being taken for granted. Then when young people are just coming to the city to express their anger, they receive tear gas, they get police harassment, some will get injured. So you are looking at the same thing. Are we in Kenya? For me, that's what I'm asking.
Professor, on much of the investigation into the murder of one Albert Ojwang, the IPOA and the investigative bodies in the country are trying to convince us that we are doing everything necessary in their power to make sure that the real culprits are brought to them. Yesterday we saw IPOA publish that they had arrested the first suspect in the murder of Albert Ojwang, a police officer by the name of PC James Mkwana, constable at Nairobi Central Police Station. What is your take in regards to that?
First of all, I don't think that is working well because the major suspect, the prime suspect is known, but he's still working at large. He's working with the national crown. You know, let me tell you how this works. If you kill any Kenyan and none of their family members accuse you, you're always accused by the crown. The crown is the sovereign power. You see that crown the policemen put on themselves? That's the crown. So how can someone who has killed a citizen continue working with the crown? You know, because he's working with those are state instruments on his body. That one, I mean, LANGAT. I mean, Kanja. They should be dethroned. They should completely be divested. They should remove all those national vestments, which were, those ones have been decorated with state instruments on their body, yet the body of Ojwang is lying there. So for me, we should have started, first of all, with arrest of the prime suspect, because even the Inspector General said it, that the prime suspect is LANGAT. It was said again by Murkomen. So the parliament also said it is. The DCI said it. So why are we waiting? Is there any holy cows in this shade? Are there some people who are untouchable? Are there some people who are invulnerable? Are there some people who are unforgivable? So according to me, we don't know how special Kanja and LANGAT is. If they get arrested, that's when we shall believe that IPOA has begun their work. But the side issues, we don't get it. We know these incidents whereby those senior officers can even give money to the families of those officers that are arrested so that those people can stay in custody, later they'll be released. Like you see now, I'm hearing cases whereby some of them have disappeared. Do you know why we have police cells? Do you know why we have remand? A remand is where you're being put to stay undergoing investigation. If you were the one who had made a mistake by now, they could have not given even 1 minute that record a statement and go. You could have recorded the statement, remain in police custody until you are taken to court, and only court can now free you or keep you longer. Why were they given this chance to run scot-free? It means that there are so many differences how they treat citizens and how they treat themselves. Because some of us have been arrested of doing nothing. That you are walking on the street, that they think you want to demonstrate. You'll be arrested for that. They never gave us a chance. We stayed in the cell for 48 hours or more. But for them, they don't. And for me, what is sad, the fact that these officers have been left to walk scot-free. They went to Homa Bay and found Ojwang having lunch with his wife. He never finished his lunch. What was so much of a hurry that he was picked that he couldn't even finish his lunch. You know, eating, I think, is one of the things that leads to a life. So I think it's a human right to eat. So they took him when he was having lunch. For these other guys, there's no hurry to put them in a cell. Ojwang committed nothing apart from just posting. For them, they have committed murder, and there's no urgency that they should be put inside. So between somebody who has killed and somebody who has just blocked, who should be in a hurry to be put inside the cell? It is those people. And they have just been left to run scot-free. Yet, if it is you, you can be locked for even 10 bob, for 10 shillings. But these people have killed a patriot. They have killed a very important person in Kenya who was the voice of the young people. He was the voice of all of us. And that's why you're seeing us. We are going to the street. We are not sleeping. We are fighting. We won't be lent. And I want to tell the government, if someone tells you you can sell for us fair, sell it elsewhere. We won't buy fear. And I can tell you very well, don't look at me as if I'm supposed to be afraid of you. Afraid of you for what? Don't look at me, you should talk to me like a child. I'm not a child. Again, don't look at me like you talk to me as if I'm an idiot. We are educated. In fact, the incompetence and illiteracy is more in the government than with citizens. You know that? That's why you see when Gachagua was still in government, he told them, if we want to reduce the wage bill, let us start by prosecuting all the people who have fake degrees inside the government. So, do you know how many people have fake degrees inside the government who should be prosecuted? So, the people who know what needs to be done is us, not them. So, they cannot lecture us on anything.
Apart from that, yesterday there was a publication by the Star newspaper.
Yeah.
It was the whole scenario of the 36 hours that took the life of one Albert Ojwang. And one, let me say paragraph or one section of the said story caught the attention of the whole nation at large. That Albert Ojwang arrived in Nairobi and was taken to Mazingira House, which is the DCI headquarters. And from DCI headquarters, he was taken to Karura Forest, where the Star, according to the Star newspaper, they believe that DCI has torture chambers within Karura Forest. And there they started torturing Albert. They called one DIG LANGAT to come and witness the torturing of Albert Ojwang inside Karura Forest that night. And the man, according to the Star newspaper, showed up and witnessed the whole scenario, even went ahead to encourage them to continue doing what they were doing until Albert fell into a coma. What is your take in regards to that matter? And according to you, and this story that the Star newspaper published, do you see any credibility in it?
Yeah, there is. Remember the questions I asked on the first day we gave a first statement at City Mortuary at the postmortem. I told the nation that the person of Ojwang was very personal about it. You know, I said, for example, if you find someone sleeping with your wife, you can't beat them the same way compared to when you send someone else to beat them. I don't even believe that he not only witnessed, he participated. It was anger. That person who beat Ojwang with anger. I look at the body of Ojwang. I look at when he was lying there, Albert. You know, when they were now doing the postmortem and they cut the skull, the bleeding inside the skull was immense. You know, the skull is one of the most, the hardest organ you have, the hardest thing you have. It was hit until it was broken through, until the bleeding went to the brain. And Ojwang went unconscious, I think, because of the internal bleeding that was taking place. I can even attest that Albert Ojwang must have been beaten even by Eliud LANGAT himself. Because the anger at which, first of all, compare Someone sent somebody to go all the way to Homa Bay to pick this boy when he was having lunch with the family, not giving him even a minute to finish his meal. You know, normally, I see when we used to be arrested when we were young boys in university, if you are found urinating on the road, they say, maliza tuende. Sivyo? Yani, hiyo ni haja umekosea, lakini maliza tu haja tuende. Sivyo? So hata kusema, maliza kula tuende. They could have sat with the young man. Even if they didn't want to eat in their home, they could have waited for him to finish eating. We have found you eating. You never interrupt people's eating. That was anger. Investment involved. 400 kilometers to Homa Bay and back. That's 800 kilometers of travel. They went through all that. All the way to Nairobi. Why Karura Forest? There was no Karura Forest in Homa Bay. That's now you understand why. They could not do the thing they wanted to do in Homa Bay, Mawego police station. They wanted something as secret as a torture chamber in Karura Forest. So everything adds up. Then Karura Forest has been known for so many people killed in Karura Forest. You know Msando. Where was he killed? Where was he found? So we can count names and names. And this policeman knew. DCI knew. And then they said that he was never taken to DCI. Yet we had the information. You wait for the prosecution to begin. We have witnesses we are going to bring. We have the information we have gathered. Information which is undeniable. They are going to ensure that they get everything. Like I told you, when you do investigation, A, B, C, assume nothing. Believe nothing. Check everything. So as the people helping Ojwang's family to get justice, we are assuming nothing. We are not going to believe anything they tell us, and we are going to check everything until justice is done, and then justice is served, until justice is seen to have been done. We won't relent. And I can tell you, we talked about Ruto one term, isn't it? With the killing of Ojwang, we have now moved to half term. We are not even discussing about one term anymore. And I want to ask Raila Odinga, ask yourself, which side are you? This is the side when you have to abandon this trade. You have to tell William Ruto to carry his own cross. You cannot face your sunset days and abandon your son. Ojwang is your son. Ojwang was from Homa Bay. Raila Odinga Stadium is in Homa Bay. That's why you took William Ruto to do the Madaraka Day. Now he has killed your son. Is there something you are waiting to see that he's gonna do? How comes every time we join the government, our people die? And when we join government, we don't actually get development. We just find people have died. Musando case was when you had just joined the government. Then Musando dies. We can count many people from your area. So this is the time you have to stand where the truth is, so that you can stand to be counted. Me, I'm urging you that this is the time we have to really find the story. So the story from the start is closer to the truth. It adds up. And if you want to know why it adds up, all the statements given by the DCI, statement given by the ODPP, statement given by the INIS, statement given by the Inspector General and Deputy Inspector General, by Murkomen, they are all inconsistent. The only story which is consistent with the facts and consistent with the postmortem report is the story from the Star. So the Star is now the Star, and they have shown the Star, and now Kenyans can see the truth.
Now, getting back to the case, the current statement given by IG Douglas Kanja, the statement given by DCI Director Amin Mohammed. The IG and the police department, mostly the Central Police Station, they said that Albert Ojwang was tortured at DCI, that he arrived at Nairobi Central Police Station while he was in a coma. So the officers within the Nairobi Central Police Station did not have anything to do with the torturing of Ojwang. And they went ahead to support their claims that even the OCS, One Talam, refused to book Albert at Nairobi Central Police Station. But due to the pressures and calls from above, he had to take Albert. on the other side, on the other side, we are hearing that the DCI now themselves have turned against the Nairobi Central Police Station Department. They are saying that the main suspect, who they believe should be arrested and detained for the murder of Albert Ojwang, is none other than the Nairobi Central Police Station OCS Talam. They are all throwing tantrums towards each other, but nobody points a finger at the big man. What is your take in regards to this?
Yeah, first of all, you have to understand a few things here. I've been to Nairobi Central Police. I've been detained there for 8 times. Those policemen do beat people. I was being beaten there, but of course, chances are that I'm a kickboxer and I managed to defend myself. Then I became the leader of the people in the cell, and I ordered that any policeman trying to beat anybody, I'll beat them. It is not possible to do the kind of torture Ojwang was given within the cell. Because you see, even when you cane one person, when they shout, the other cells will hear. So the cell is not the environment to do torture. That's why from the beginning, these Binyayo torture chamber houses. So these torture chamber houses were put there because they are actually underground, where you can't hear anybody. During abduction, people like my brother Bob Njagi, they were arrested. I've sat with almost all abductors in a conversation. There was one in Ngong where they used to hide people and beat them up. There was one on Kiambu, isn't it? Even there's one in Karora. Those things exist. And they are built apartments. That's what I'm telling you. There is a budget that is given to the security officers to do these abductions, killings, harassment, and tortures. They have a budget. Now, look, imagine. Have you not seen that the budget of security under John Biden has gone up by 17%? Yes. So what is that budget for? Are we at war? How comes we increase the budget by 17%? If you increase by 2-3%, you can talk about inflation. Economy is not even growing at 17%. How can the budget for security grow by 70%? Economy is growing at 4.8%. Yet budget for security grows by 18%. Then John Biden cheats us that you cannot enjoy economic development without security, so you put money on security so that you can enjoy development. What are they telling us? They want to put money to beat people, torture them, abduct them as form they enjoy life. Because who is enjoying this economy?
Those that are in government.
Those in government. Because if you look at even the budget, it says that 3.11 trillion is going to the Ricardo expenditure for the state of research. Only 671 billion is going to development. So this budget, how the government is doing the budget should tell you what they're intending to do. It should tell you this torturing will continue. So why am I believing that Ojwang was checked in when he was already there? The first statement was inconsistent, that somebody was already dead by 2:35, yet he was booked at 2:35, isn't it? In Central. They said they booked him at 2:35, isn't it? But he was already dead by that time. And then they said he was taken to Baghdad. We went to Baghdad, and the Baghdad people said they never received the body. Now they are saying Baghdad denied to receive the body. And I asked, can we be told who exactly was the doctor who was brought, who was given attention, or who met Ojwang and said, we cannot admit it? Because they said, if you look at the postmortem form, which I have here, because I was in the postmortem in City Mortuary, is written that Ojwang was moved from Central Police Station where he was being held and taken to Baghdad and declared dead on arrival, isn't it? Yeah. So all these things don't add up. And I can tell you, do you know the most difficult thing to add up is a lie. A lie does not add up. The truth adds up. Like you see now, we are sitting with you on the bench here on Kunda Road, isn't it? If someone says that I was on Korosho Road, it's impossible that I can be in Kunda Road at the same time be in Korosho Road. The reality on how to know the truth is a principle in theology or philosophy called the principle of non-contradiction. A thing cannot be and not be at the same time, in the same way, in the same place. So you cannot be in City Mortuary and not be in City Mortuary at the same time, in the same way. So Ojwang could not be in Karora Forest and at the same time being Central, at the same time being City Mortuary, at the same time being Bagadi Hospital, the same person, the same way, at the same time. So if you know that, just stop lying. The truth from things stay away. But you know what happens here. This is where the gist of the matter is. The bottom line is this. Bottom line is that who is in charge of Kenya police is that guy called Langat. Not even Kanja. Yes. The truth be said, you can be a CEO in a bank, but the secretary at the reception is the brother to the chairman of the board. That person is your boss. In Kenya, we don't obey orders. We obey, we have political patronage. So Langat, having come from Ruto's stronghold backyard, that's why they wanted to eliminate Kanja, because Kanja comes from Adira, and they replaced Kanja with Langat. And they misfired. So Ojwang died in the crossfire. Are you getting my point? That's why even if they know now that Langat has made a mistake, have you heard what Cheragay said? Let us not isolate it to Langat. All the Kalenjin MPs and all the Kalenjin people are trying to defend Langat. Why? Does he need to be defended? He is a deputy inspector general with all the powers. Why don't they just allow investigation to take place? So the truth of the matter is that there's a battle between Kanja and Langat, isn't it? And who is winning now? The person winning is Kanja, because Kanja at least did not involve himself in killing who? Ojwang. But Kanja could have been weaker had Langat not committed this crime. And that's why you are realizing that within the police, there are people who will follow Kanja and people who will follow who? Langat. And that's why you see there's a lot of inconsistency and information in flowing. I'm telling you, so many police officers are reaching out to us to volunteer information. And also I want to tell these people, we have Gen Z in the police unit. They are not going to let their fellow Gen Z lie there with the lies. They are giving us the truth. We are having 1 minute by 1 minute. Like now as I sit here, the kind of information we have. The policemen who went to Homa Bay, I have their name plus their phone numbers. You get me? The border who picked them and took them to Ojwang's home, I have their name and phone numbers. Isn't it? As we speak now, the OCS Mawego police station, who is a lady, I have her name plus phone numbers and her relatives and what she said after Ojwang left before knowing that Ojwang will die. You know a statement that she gave before Ojwang was, after Ojwang was picked, but had not got news Ojwang is dead. That statement reveals a lot more truth than even what you are hearing. So you just wait for the defense to, for the prosecution to begin. The kind of information you want to bring will be, but then don't believe I-power. The most dangerous letter in I-power is the word I, independent. That's what is not there. Just like in all institutions in Kenya, anything beginning with the word independent, that's where there is no independence. And actually this has become an African problem. Anything that begins with the word democratic, there's no democracy. Like you hear Democratic Republic of Congo, isn't it? Go and look for democracy. You better not call yourself democratic. Just call yourself something. If you go to all democratic republics, that's where there is no democracy. If you go to any country and see, this is a corrupt-free zone, that's where corruption begins. So all these titles we know. I-power is not independent. I-power chair is appointed by the president. I-power is guarded by the police service. Who offers security to the I-power CEO? The police service. The chairman of the board of I-power, who is appointing authority. So how can you be independent to investigate someone who is taking care of your security? How do you investigate it? So we are looking for institutions to be revived, to restore the nation of the country, so that we can have these institutions being independent. If you go to countries like Norway, Japan, South Korea, if you go to Singapore, you can never have a judge having coffee with people in the bar. Go to UK. But here in Kenya, judges even dance in the bar with their own people whom tomorrow they are going to see before them. You see a chief justice hugging a president. You can never see this in some countries, but am I lying? Have you not seen the chief justice hugging a president? In UK, it's impossible. You must stay independent. So as far as I'm concerned, you could know all those things about independence. That's why when we went to the postmortem, IPOA took their samples for toxicology. We also took our samples, isn't it? IMLU took their samples. So they are going to do their sampling in their own government chemistry laboratory. We do ours, and they do that. IMLU does theirs. Then we compare. If our records are the same as IMLU, then the one for our part of Amwaga to get destiny, and then we take the no, because it must be corroborated. Yeah. You know, in Jewish culture, this is very unfair, but they say if a woman and a man are arguing, a testimony for a man must be falsified by testimonies of 3 women. Can you imagine? So for us, we want to say that we don't want to believe on that nonsense from the Jewish. 2 testimonies that are correlated. Let's say if IMLU does their analysis and finds what killed Ojwang, and also us as family do our analysis, and what IMLU says, we also say, then IPOA comes with a power thing, isn't it? We will tell them, here's your power, tunaweka kwa dustbin, then we pick the one for IMLU and ours. So the fact that we're in the postmortem, we took photos, videos, and evidence. We know exactly where Ojwang was touched. We could see the centimeters. Sometimes you could see how many times did you hit that part to reach there. Understand? So we can tell, and of course, forensic evidence will show even the duration of the torture. So the 36 hours will come to pass. So you can't believe these people. The thing we know is that William Ruto is running this country as if it's his tribal thing. He accused Gachagua of being tribal, but look at what's happening in his government. If Farouk Kibet can become more powerful than a minister, Farouk Kibet can even insult a senior government official, isn't it? Somebody who is not educated. Yet these ministers are highly qualified. These people cannot even allow professionals to work. So if you are in a government and you are Ruto's tribesman, you are more powerful than even your boss. And that's why LANGAT is more powerful than Kanja. The only thing that gives him power is the tribal inclination he has with the president. I have to tell Mr. President, you are the head of state. Imagine, just imagine you are the head of state. Not even imagine, you are the head of state. What are you looking for, really? You have all the powers. What power do you get by Ojwang's death? What power do you have by giving LANGAT these powers? Why don't you just professionalize the police? When I hear about police reforms, I don't care about police reforms. I care about professionalizing the police, professionalizing government services, modernizing governance in Kenya. Because this kind of governance in Kenya is not modern. In a modern state, you can't do what you're doing. So, if one day I'll ever get a chance to be a head of state, I'll come with a program called Modernizing Government. So I'll go and take care of it. Be modern. This is what it means to be modern. In fact, we should call all Kenyans to Bomas to sit down to tell us which kind of state do they want in the 21st century. In fact, the biggest discussion should be having, call these Gen Zs to Bomas and have a national convention and ask them, you guys, you are very angry with us. How would you want us to run this country? Because we seem not to know. And the truth of the matter, they don't know. They are clueless, they are incompetent, they are so corrupt that they can't see the truth. And even when you hear these people making noise here and there, these members of parliament, these are hypocrites. Because do you know that IG Kanja was vetted in parliament? Is it? So what is the use of vetting if you can vet people like that? Eliud LANGAT was vetted in parliament, isn't it? Murkomen, whom they were now shouting at, they knew him, he was their fellow member, but they still vetted him in parliament. So, even wasting taxpayers' money, people are sitting down up to midnight vetting people. All these are shambolic things. We just need to professionalize governance in Kenya by ensuring that parliament is professional, is independent institutions, judiciary is professional, independent institutions, ORPP is the same way, DPP the same way, DCI is the same. But now all these things, what the president has done, he has put accomplices in all those very important state apparatus. Let's now go. I'm not tribal, but let me just wonder a little bit. Maths doesn't lie. Who is the director of DCI?
I mean,
Is from which community?
Somali.
Who is in charge of DPP?
DPP.
Somebody from, let's say, Kakamega. Yeah, that's okay. We go to which other unit department? NIS, isn't it? It's from where?
Somali.
Yes. So you can count those are very key components to be put in the hands of one community. You can count them, there are very many, isn't it? And that brings a big problem. Healthcare, isn't it? High power, same, isn't it? So our problem begins by the president having allowed the Somalis to buy those positions. They bought them and they gave him money. And when they gave him money and bought those institutions, now they are being used on his interest. You get me? We have a businessman, we don't have a president. When you have a president who does not know his constitutional roles, and is a businessman can even sell for you a donkey for meat, isn't it? Can even sell you a dog for meat. If you look at him meeting even thugs, rebel groups in State House, the president has traded with everything. So he is a businessman. So Kenyans, please, the next time you're electing a president, choose a patriotic Kenyan. If there's any way to know it, Ojwang could be one of the most patriotic people in Kenya. Look for someone who has the heart and soul of the country. Because our problems begin with lack of patriotism. If you lack patriotism, you'll be corrupt. You'll be a tribalist. You will not be able to allow meritocracy. You cannot be curing the economic problem you have. Governance will not be your priority. You won't bring in rule of law. You cannot be able to bring national security. You won't care about people's health care, about their education. A patriotic Kenyan like Kibaki knew that, let me take children to school, even if I die, their mothers will thank me later. So I'm saying that's the true measure in 2027. Don't elect anybody just because you think they're putting on a suit. Elect the person whom you think is patriotic. Don't vote for money. Vote